Welcome back to another episode of the Ryan Cross Project Podcast, the RCP for short. This is episode 13. And today we have two guests, Boonzo. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
All right. So one friend I have known for a while, a good friend of mine, and the other guy is just some asshole I met at work. I don't know where I came you met this dude from. I think his name's Marvin, I think his name is. So we're going to introduce these guys real quick. I know one's going, piece of shit. So, Malcolm, Malcolm, I've known this dude since I was in Jersey, which was many years ago now. And like I said, Colin, I just call him Marvin because he looks like friggin' Marvin from Daddy Daycare, which is even funnier.
I will never be able to make that comparison. I never have, I never will be.
Oh, that's fine. I'll just keep calling you Marvin until it sinks in. Or until you shoot me, one of these days, whichever one comes first.
He's probably going to shoot you first.
Yeah, probably. All right, so Ricardo is Boonzo. Colin already has a name by default, short to make short stack, or Marvin. Marvin.
Yeah.
So, Marvin. Damn, I meant to say Malcolm. What do you want your nickname to be? Because everyone has a nickname on the show, except me.
I will allow you to actually figure that out on your own.
Okay, I have no nickname for you, though. I just call you Malcolm or just Mal, I guess. I don't know, which makes no sense.
I'll take Mal. I'll take Mal.
Okay, Mal. No. Big M. We'll call you Big M. There you are.
Okay, Big M. I like it.
Okay, Big M. So we got Big M, Marvin. It's going to be really confusing after a while. And Boonzo. Cool.
Okay, so everyone, just remember everyone's name. That's all I'm saying.
We have 4 people. This is going to be very fun. Okay.
Yeah, I can tell.
Okay. So we usually talk comic books, wrestling, movies, mixture of both, video games, whatever stupid shit comes to our minds. Or if I was watching any anime, we'd talk about what I saw. But since I don't have any, I haven't been doing anything. I've been busy with this little indie movie, about 20 movies in the making, called Endgame that came out this past weekend. Holy cow. So
good.
Yeah. We are going to do a non-spoiler review, which means we're going to talk overall, just in general about it. Our usual thoughts without giving any plot points or any spoilers away. Like a lot of people have been doing, just running into theaters, saying spoiler, and then running out. Saying a huge spoiler towards the end of the movie. And ruining it for everybody, like a little asshole.
Yeah, mind you.
Like when I had The Force Awakens ruined for me like 30 minutes before I watched it.
No. I'm not talking about 30. I'm not talking about before the movie. I'm talking about during the movie itself.
Oh, that's some dick shit.
Like people are just,
Like,
people just running into the theater going, bah, 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 bah. I'm like, dude, what the hell?
Just screaming insert spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay, let's walk away from the negative real quick. Can we just appreciate that this movie has grossed over $1 billion within 5 days? Like
the first
Last I
ever
saw,
movie
to open at $1 billion.
Yeah.
open at $1 billion.
that's
Oh my
fucking bonkers. Like,
That's insane.
That is impressive.
Like, what was the
looking
last movie
at
that
all
made
the
that much
movies,
money recently?
probably Infinity War.
Exactly.
No. I mean, to open at $1 billion, no movie's done that. To open close to $1 billion, probably Infinity War, yeah. But to reach $1 billion, the last one
I know
that
Black Panther came kind of close.
yeah.
Which Black Panther made more in the U.S. than Infinity War did, surprisingly enough, actually. But I know Infinity War still made more worldwide.
Yeah, I was about to say not that surprising, but I'm not going to go there.
Just quick, Colin, is there a way you can pump up your gain a little bit on your mic, or?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do about it.
That's actually a little bit better. I don't know if you're speaking closer to it, just because you're noticeably lower than Malcolm and Travis on my levels.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing this on my phone, so I was usually just holding my phone a little further away from my face.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, 5 billion opening weekend.
5 billion. What?
5
No,
billion.
you mean 1
10
billion.
billion opening week. 20 billion opening weekend. I mean, you gotta hand it to the Russos. They really knocked it out of the park. So yeah, 1 billion. My bad. Um,
Okay,
yeah.
just for a point of reference, Boonzo, Marvin, and myself all work at the same theater.
Yeah.
We have not gotten much sleep lately.
I got to
Nope.
bed at 8 in the morning this morning. I got home from the movie theater at 5 in the morning this morning. It's not good. It's not good. It's just not.
Mama, I have
Dude,
a
you pulled the
question.
late shift tonight, or you
What
pulled the late
movie?
shift last night.
Hang on, Malcolm's got a question. What's up, Big M?
Where's your job at? You have to get home at 5 o'clock in the morning. You gotta be back by 8.
No. I don't gotta be back by 8. I just got to bed at 8.
Jesus
Because I
Christ.
had like breakfast and shit like that with my family that I promised, and a bunch of other stuff. So I didn't actually hit the bed until 8 in the morning.
And then about 4 hours later, you got a text from this asshole going, "Where are you?"
A call and a text. A
He's
call and a text.
He's tired. He did a whole overnight. Those are killer.
Yeah.
I understand that, but you have to understand the only reason
reason that we
Thank you.
can record this is because I'm recording it. So
exactly.
yeah.
So I kind of need him to get this going. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
and I said like, because he's like, he's like, oh no, like help me with the OBS and I'll set it up and I'll record it. And I'm like, nah, fuck it, I'm getting up. And then it just took me an hour to get up. Is the problem?
yeah, because I was like, about an hour later, I was like, "Are you?" It's like, "Where are you, dude?" He goes, "I'm up." I was like, "That's not what I asked.
Yeah.
Where are you?"
But anyway, so
In other words, he wanted Christian. In other words, he wants a Christian to say, "What? Fuck this shit. I'm going back to sleep."
I was very close to doing that. Very close.
Called it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
All right. So spoiler free. How are we gonna do this?
Okay, so beginning of the movie, that opening shot got us right back where we started at the end of Endgame. At the end of Infinity War. God damn it.
Yeah. Wait, is this
And that's just
spoiler or spoiler free?
I'm not saying what it is. I'm
Got it.
just
I
saying.
would say that's a more of a spoiler-free thing
Okay.
because you would assume if you play Infinity War and the end game is afterwards, you would assume it's just gonna go after what happened at the end of Infinity War. Thanos snaps. Half the universe is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would have to assume the following movie it's gonna just continuation.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Individual
Well,
reactions on that. Individual reactions. Go.
Okay, why don't we start with Big M over there?
Are you asking for my opinion?
Yeah. Like, what was your initial opinion on that opening shot?
From the opening shot, I was in love.
That's a pretty morbid way to put that.
I
know how it sounded, but I am a big Marvel fan for movies. So so as soon as I sat there, I'm like, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
I know.
I remember audibly going, not like this. Like, no, we can't start like this. This isn't okay.
Yeah.
Then
Marvin,
again, first see you didn't know what to expect. I'm like, wait a minute, what is this?
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Like, what happened here? Like, what's going on?
Right.
I didn't see this at the end of the movie.
All right. Marvin, what about you? What'd you think?
Yeah, no, that opening shot was incredible way to start the movie, but at the same time, it was just so disheartening for it to kind of start off on such a somber note with
Don't say it. With what happened. With what happened.
Well, with you see in the trailers that Tony is recording a message. So
Oh no, not
the trailer.
Not that opening shot. I'm talking about the opening shot of the movie, the cold open of the movie.
Oh, the cold.
Yeah.
That, admittedly, that was hard. It was hard to look at the very beginning.
Okay.
It was so hard to look at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
admittedly, though, it's considering how the rest of the movie played out. Like, it was a very, it was, ooh, it was a start. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Before the title even popped up on screen, like
No, not even not the title. Before even the Marvel logo.
Yeah. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Ooh.
Which I'm surprised they didn't just have that fade to dust too, or at least half of that fade to dust.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been too on the nose.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah. Do we want to go like literally shot by shot, or are we just gonna do an overall like review?
Okay, overall review.
Well, I'm thinking about doing an overall review right now, and then after we get done with this episode, we can record the full spoiler review,
Okay.
which would
Oh
be
yeah.
a lot longer because I want to make this. I hate to do this, but I have to make this like a half hour because I know we're gonna break down that movie, and we're gonna have all four of us have different points of opinion and different experiences.
Mhm.
So this is gonna be a relatively shorter episode of the RCP. Give a brief non-spoiler review, talk about a couple other things that I dropped in the group chat, and then we're gonna end that and then go off to the spoiler review as a separate recording altogether. I'll drop that like in the middle of the week. Okay, so as far as my reaction to the cold open of the movie, I was like, no, please, no, because I knew it had to happen, otherwise there would be no point to Ronan. Damn, I just spoiled it, didn't I?
You dingus! You
Why, Travis? Why?
Oh,
You're
shit.
so bad. Can we just skip to the spoiler version? Like, come on.
I was
Nah.
gonna say, like, if that's how we're gonna start, yeah, we might as well just go. straight
Yeah,
to
might as well.
spoiler.
Fuck. Okay, so
Uh,
all right, just call me Tom Holland from here on out. That's fine. Just call me Tom. It's fine.
Okay,
It's,
first spoiler alert that everyone's gonna love. Thor is fat.
yes.
yeah,
Bro,
Dad.
Thor looks like literally the Weekend with Bernie.
Yeah. It's
Literally,
Dad bod Thor.
he looks like a midlife crisis 70 hippie that just lost all control after his wife left him. He said, "Fuck everything. I'm done.
Damn.
I'm
Yo,
done."
when you look at Thor though, take this into consideration. This was something I was talking with one of my roommates about last night. Like, are abs just part of like Asgardian genetics? Because he still had his six-pack over his beer gut.
Yeah, we saw it. But that just proves how powerful he is. Like he has abs on his beer gut. That's how strong Thor is.
Yeah.
He can binge
Yeah,
drink.
looking at this Thor, he strikes me as the kind of guy that is still doing like upside down crunches, but like he's chugging a bottle of Jack Daniels at the same time.
Yeah, I could totally see it taking like a freaking barrel of beer and having a swig every single time he does one. And since he's Thor, he never gets tired, so he chugged the whole barrel. I'm like, damn, that was just a warm up.
Damn.
Yo, I
Okay,
could see
so-
him ripping a beer bong while he's like calling Stormbringer to his side.
Nah,
He actually, here's the funny part. He used Stormbreaker. He used Stormbreaker to open a fucking bottle of beer. That was hilarious.
yeah, that was. I'm
Yes.
like, damn, that's how sad it
did.
became. Got to use the most powerful weapon you made for Ragnarok, and now it's a damn bottle opener.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
No, actually, he didn't
No,
have
not
that.
Ragnarok. That was
Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Okay.
Yeah, he made it on Nidavellir with
Okay.
Peter Dinklage.
Now related to Thor.
Dinklage, the giant dwarf.
Yeah.
Which is so
big
bizarre.
Which is hilarious.
Okay, this is
How the
related.
tables have turned.
This is related and important, okay?
Yo.
So, you've heard of Avengers in Fortnite.
Oh god.
But have you
yeah.
heard of Fortnite in Avengers? Because
No.
Thor,
That was
fucking Meek and
No, it was Korg was
Korg-
playing it,
yeah,
and Meek was playing next to him. Was he playing it or playing?
he was watching. He was watching him play.
He was watching.
He was
Okay.
watching him play.
And then Thor just walks up. Is this whatever his name? I knew the name ended in 69, which is always what it has to be.
Yeah.
It was
Something
like,
like that,
noob,
yeah.
noob something 69.
Right.
Noob something. I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly.
It was
what.
like Noob Gamer 69 or something.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
It's like, is that Noob Gamer 69? Listen, Noob Gamer 69. This is Thor. God of Thunder. if you trash talk my friend again, I will come over to your house and rip you a fucking sunder.
Yeah.
That's right. I'll go cry to your father, you weakling.
Yeah, and then it's like
I think he said, I will fly over your house.
He said that he will rip his arms off and shove them up his butt.
right, yeah. No,
Right,
that's exactly
that's
it.
Oh my god.
Travis, I don't know what the hell you said, but
Yeah, and then I love how Korg goes, "Thanks, Thor." Like, oh, cool Easter egg. Do you guys remember what Korg was wearing?
No.
actually I don't.
He was wearing a Hawaiian button-up, which is actually one of Taika
Waititi.
It's one of Taika Waititi's favorite things to wear. So he actually dressed up as himself as Korg, which was funny.
Nice. Nice.
Yo, since might as well just get this out of the way since I guess technically we're doing the spoiler review now.
Yeah, since I blew it.
Well,
Sorry.
actually, before I go any further, Ricardo, how's my volume? I'm looking at my screen and it's still kind of got me showing up kind of low.
Yeah, you're like hanging around -40 decibels, which is
It's a little
like I pop up a lot, like, and I'm one of the lower ones. I pop up at around -25.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking at yours, and well, mine occasionally like hops up, and then at other times it just like shows up like really low.
Yeah, you wouldn't happen
Yeah.
to have like a pair of like headphones with a microphone on it, would you?
Let me check and see really quick, because I know I have a pair of headphones. I just gotta find them.
Yeah. Unless he wants to like strap like tape the phone to his forehead and then have it there, which is also an option. You can do that, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. What I was gonna say something. I forgot what it is now.
How am I popping up now?
Oh wow, yeah, that's a lot better.
Okay, answered everything. Fucking headphones.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. No, like I was gonna say though, if we are just going straight into the spoiler review, going into that final battle, did everyone notice who finally made their third appearance?
Third appearance?
Yeah, it was very much a blink and you'll miss it type thing. It was something that you had to look in a very specific spot. But Howard the Duck made his third appearance when he showed up with the Ravagers.
Are you shitting me?
No
I
way.
am not shitting you. He, Malcolm, you said that you've seen the movie like twice already, right?
Yes,
Big
and I
M.
did not see Howard the Duck in that whole movie. I swear to God, I'm probably gonna see it again today or even tomorrow.
Yeah, no. When you go and watch it again, when all of them are showing up through the rift rings,
Yeah,
look in the bottom right area. He comes through with the Ravagers.
Oh, I think I remember. Golly, I missed that.
Like I think that's like the only cut where like you actually get to see him. He doesn't make any appearances like in the actual battle, but like he shows up with the Ravagers, and I did it silently, but I lost my goddamn mind.
Awesome. Wow.
There you go, bud. There you go.
Okay, so spoiler then, starting from the start of the movie, or we're just gonna keep talking about Brothor?
Well, since we started with like a hero and then we moved from there, we can like do it hero based and talk about them like instead of doing like a chronological, we can do it just like go from hero to hero that we want to talk about. But like Thor, and then one of the things I want to like focus on was like him. It's Frigga. I forget her name. Thor's mom.
Yeah.
That whole scene and that whole sequence is like a theme throughout the entire movie where all these characters get closure.
And here's the funny thing: she literally tells him to eat a salad, which is even funnier.
Yeah, and take a
that
shower,
was funny.
basically. Like
basically, your mom called you fat. Like, come on, get your shit together, bro. The God of Thunder look like it.
It's like, what are you, the god of axes and hammers now? No, my God. It's like, no, I'm not the Thor you know. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, though, the next thing that probably should be mentioned, since we're bringing up Thor's mom, is the fact that everyone probably kind of knew that it was going to be a theme in the movie, but yeah, time travel's a thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
which they called.
Yeah, I figured something like that would happen in the movie.
okay. So I want you to picture this for a second. This was brought up by someone else. I forget who it was. I'm not going to name the source because I don't remember it. But how weird would it be for Natalie Portman in that day, for Jane Foster for that day? A friggin' raccoon takes the ether out of you, and then like 10 seconds later, friggin' Captain America puts it back in you. How weird is your day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
I mean, and like, okay, that's something I want to bring up real quick. Natalie Portman.
Showed up for like 2 seconds.
I know, but like, people were talking like, were those clips that were extras and leftovers from Dark World? Were they shot specifically for Endgame? Because she was at the premiere, and I know that her departure from the Marvel Universe was kind of rocky. Like, it was kind of a messy split.
You mean it was Ragnaroky?
Yeah.
Piss off.
Travis, I woke up on 4 hours of sleep for this. I'm leaving. I'm leaving, and I'm taking the kids. Okay? Like, fuck you. That was so bad.
As far as the Natalie Portman thing goes, yeah, her departure was very much on kind of the lesser scale of how departures usually go, but they used her in very few cuts, so I'd have to say that those were probably just maybe a couple of extra scenes that they had to take out of the Dark World.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Oh, man, but that was funny. I don't care. That was worth it. My pun was worth it.
It's so
Screw you
bad.
guys.
So bad.
You say that now.
What is it though?
Anyway,
You say that now, but then when later on this week you don't have an episode.
Oh man, the file got corrupted and I accidentally spilled 20 gallons of water on my PC. So disappointing.
Huh, that's weird. Every time you talk, there's just like Asian
Static?
girls moaning.
Yeah. Putting soft core hentai over the parts where you say shitty jokes.
don't do that, guys. Please. I want this to stay up.
Exactly.
I want this to get monetized.
Yeah. Okay, so
Anyway.
anything else you guys want to talk about Thor?
Don't demonetize us. We work at a movie theater.
We're monetized enough. Let's see. Thor.
Like, I guess you could talk about the Mjolnir Stormbreaker crossover.
Not yet.
We'll talk about that when we move
Get
on
to
to a different hero.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go with Hulk then.
Hang on. So the last three we're going to talk about in this order will be Black Widow, Captain America, and Iron Man. Those have to be the last three we talk about.
In that order?
Yes, in that order.
All right. Yeah, no problem.
I don't remember that then.
Okay. Because those are like the three most important things that I want to keep those to the very last.
Yeah, no
So,
problem. Just give me a second. I want to mark down that exact order.
You're being a dick right now, aren't you?
No.
But he's
He's
being
being
smart.
serious. Yeah, he's being serious.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm being serious. I'm actually just marking down the order.
So that
Okay.
way we don't fuck it up later on. Cough,
Yeah.
cough, Travis.
Widow, Cap, and
Widow, Cap, Iron Man, but just before Widow,
RDJ.
right? Just before Widow, we talk about the final battle. Then we can talk about everything else that goes up. Or do you want to talk about the final battle last?
Well, I mean,
Or kind of in between.
no, because I think like the biggest plot points for both, like a lot of those characters, minus Black Widow, which is whatever, happen at the final battle scene or after.
I was
it.
gonna say, yeah,
So-
no. Let's cover the final battle, or let's cover specific events of the final battle while we're talking about the final two.
Okay, because I was about to say, why don't we just go Black Widow, final battle, Cap, and then Iron Man. That way it'll be like, it'll flow a bit better. That makes sense?
Yeah,
Well, I
can see why.
was
No,
I was
I can see
thinking
why you
that
said that.
maybe. Oh, sorry,
Because
I didn't mean to
right,
cut you off.
it's sort of how the movie went. You know, like you have the scene with Black Widow, and then you have the fire battle, and then you have Captain America, and then you have Iron Man. So it
Okay.
goes with the movie. So
Okay.
I agree with this.
Okay. So this works for everybody. The order: Widow, Battle, Cap, Iron Man.
Yeah.
We're good?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because honestly, there'll be plenty to say about Cap and Iron Man even after the final battle.
Yep.
So Captain Marvel in this movie. We'll start there because we'll go to that'll be the next one because she's barely in this thing. Everyone's like, oh, they're gonna use her to beat Thanos. They kind of do in the first 10 minutes, first 20
Definitely
minutes.
do. But what was the real purpose in the movie other than that one scene, really? Other than
Okay.
to come back at the end.
Okay, hang on. One thing, when they go to Thanos, this is the one thing that really made me mad. Within 5 minutes, they corner Thanos. She comes barreling in through his little shack thing.
Yep.
Takes him down. First thing they do is cut off his arm. My literal response to that in the theater was, and we didn't do this the first time because we would have saved a whole lot of time.
True.
But then they would have lost out on a whole lot of money.
Exactly.
This is true.
Then they wouldn't have had the best opening weekend in film history.
Exactly. But I'm like, no, because it's like,
Ha! Roll credits. That is what the movie industry is.
Yeah. You know what kind of messed me up about that? I knew it would not be the end of the movie because I thought we could see that very first scene where Thanos got fucked up. I thought we could see that at the end. I did not expect that in the very end of the movie. It blew me off.
No, it caught me by surprise too, big time. Like, especially because like it wasn't even a fight. They basically just kind of curb stomped him.
Yeah, they basically murked the shit out of him. It's like, all right, we're gonna play smart this time. You, the strongest person, rush in, chop off the nigga hog, let him talk his shit, chop off his head. Game over.
Yeah. Can I just throw like a random like round of applause for something?
What's up?
The fucking the digital design team that fucking designed the like characters who use the Infinity Gauntlet, their post snap selves, like seeing Thanos just absolutely fucked up and his arm and like all the way up his neck and like his eye kind of bulging out on that one side, like that
on the
was
right side,
so
yeah, or the left side. Actually,
that was so gross and like disturbing, and I loved it. Like it was so, and like seeing his arm shriveled up, like that's so sick, and like I really appreciated that. And then for the other characters that also cough did it, cough.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was incredible because obviously you can't have you can't have the six most powerful, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, entities in the entire universe and not have there be any drawback to having all six of them using their combined energies.
Yeah.
Right. Now, that brings up another thing at the end of the movie, but we haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah, no, we'll get there in time.
Right. Ha.
Yeah, you see, that's how you do it, Travis. You don't force it.
Yeah, I'm not... So, getting back on track because I just went blank for like a second. So, what did we think? Okay, so we saw Thanos get his head like lobbed off. Then it went black. Then went 5 years later. It hung on that 5 a while. I'm like, is this gonna go back in time? Is this gonna go forward in time? Years later, I'm like, oh shit.
20? I don't know why, but like while that was happening, I was picturing like the SpongeBob narrator to just come in and just like start speaking it out.
Yeah.
5 years later.
Such dorks. You're such dorks.
Being dorks
so much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they decided to hire a new one.
Pretty much. let's not go into a SpongeBob tangent. We are trying to stay
Yeah,
focused here.
no, I got you.
Although speaking of SpongeBob, we did see the return of Squidward, which was really nice. I'm happy they got to incorporate Squidward in the
Malcolm,
MCU.
what were you trying to say, Malcolm?
Oh, I was saying that there's nothing wrong with us being dorks. It's a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thing.
And that's the wholesome thing I wanted everybody to hear, because that was nice. I like that. Anyway, what were we talking about? I completely forgot.
We're
5 years later.
We were talking about Squidward.
No.
Yeah, we're talking. No, actually, we were talking about Squidward being back in the MCU.
That's my favorite game, by the way. Fake Endgame spoilers. That is my favorite game. I played it all day at work yesterday.
Wait, no. Are you serious? No, dude. Friggin' Ebony Maw, dude.
Yeah,
Literal, okay.
Ebony Maw's back, and because of the time.
Yeah, I visibly groaned.
Yeah,
when
not
I
literal
saw him.
Squidward, but we call
But MCU Squidward.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I saw him on screen again, and I was like, oh, all right, this asshole again.
I fucking hated Ebony Maw.
Yep.
I mean, not the character. The character was portrayed very well. Like it was. That's literally like the definition of a number 2 man. But like, as far as the character goes, just like you kind of have to not like him.
Yeah, he's doing his job. If you hate him, like he's doing it really well.
Yeah, like fucking Joffrey Baratheon. Like he's not doing his job if you don't hate him.
Joffrey is from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know him. Okay, good.
I unfortunately do not know the reference because I've not watched Game of Thrones, but I do plan on watching Game of Thrones officially after Sunday because I know there's 2 episodes. I know there's 2 episodes left of the final season, and since I am home, I will fly through with these.
Nice.
Well, let's put this into let's just put this into reference for you. At the Justin Bieber roast several years ago, they called him the King Joffrey of pop.
Damn.
So just put that into consideration when you start to watch it.
That
my
hurts.
God, why?
It hurts to hear that. It hurts to hear that.
I laughed my ass off.
I know, but it hurts because it's true.
Yeah, but since we're on MCU Squidward now, why don't we just move on to the rest of I guess Thanos' generals, Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive, and that big motherfucker that I don't know the name of.
We never see them. We pretty much never see them.
You see all 3. You see all 4 of them.
Yeah, but they don't do anything like they did in Infinity War. They're just kind of there.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, we can also talk about like the
millions of others who came back.
Well, yeah, the fact that they were all essentially split up in when they did their individual fights with all the Avengers in Infinity War, and now they get to kind of run rampant on the field with Thanos and the rest of his army.
Which, by the way, I called something. It may not have been Thanos, but I did call something a couple episodes back. If Ricardo, or Bunzo, if you remember this, Giant Man crushed a dude, and that was glorious.
Clocked a Leviathan in the motherfucking face. He took
Not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the big motherfucker.
I know. But like,
either way, though, fucking glorious.
He saw fucking. He went back in fucking time. He didn't actually see it, but he probably did actually because he was in New York. He went back in time. He saw the Hulk punch one in the face, and he was like, "Motherfucker, hold my beer." And he grew to the size of a 60-foot fucking building, and he just punched the motherfucker in the face. That was my Hulk Avengers moment.
I was only
hype
to the very first Avengers. I totally thought that was paying tribute to the very first Avengers.
It had to have
Since
been.
now this is the last Avengers movie ever.
Well,
at least for now.
Maybe not the last Avenger movie ever,
Well,
but this.
No, because did you guys see the Phase 4 thing?
Yeah, and I've already broken that down. A lot of that is unconfirmed.
Yeah, it's true, but like even though it is unconfirmed, like we can't necessarily say Last Avengers just because there is rumor of there being a Dark Avengers movie.
Yes, I did see a post on Facebook about that, but that's why I also stated this isn't going to be the very last Avengers. This could be the last Avengers for the moment.
That's fair. Yeah,
We're
going to get more.
The last Avengers of this with this incarnation of the Avengers is what he means. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay, yeah.
This incarnation, because remember, like you have Captain America and Thor leaving, and Black Widow is gone too.
Yeah.
So that's three main
Well,
characters already.
no, Thor. No. Well, we actually already covered
Mhm.
Thor, so we can talk
As Guardians of the Galaxy is back.
as Guardians of the Galaxy. Thor will likely be in Guardians Volume 3.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So we went Thor. What? Okay. So what do we think of Professor Hulk?
Loved it.
It
Honestly,
was
for what it
hilarious.
was, I liked it.
Yeah, for what it was supposed to be, I liked it, but I would say I preferred Hulk's personality over Banner's. I can say that now. I really do.
What, you don't
And
like?
I mean his personality when it was Thor Ragnarok. That Hulk personality.
Yeah.
That was funny to me.
You don't like Bruce
Yeah.
Banner dabbing on the kids?
It's not that I don't. I think it was just a little corny for what I'm used to. But I was like, if they're gonna have the Thor out and they're gonna have Hulk out like that, give him a little more of his personality for Ragnarok. Like make him.
Yeah, I had there was a really interesting argument on Twitter where a fan was like really pissed because like they basically took what Taika Waititi did with Hulk and Thor and really fleshing them out and making them interesting characters, and they said that their argument was that the Russos kind of took them and just made them boring. Specifically Thor, not so much Hulk.
That's the other thing I wanted to bring up, because I want to bring up the reaction in my theater when Thor was revealed after that 5-year time skip. But I'll get to that in a second. Sorry, that just reminded me of that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So essentially, she was making the argument that like Taika Waititi went into all this like effort of making Thor a character with depth and flaws and making them like an interesting and funny character, charismatic and all that. And then the Russos kind of took it and made it a more boring version of the Taika Waititi version. Is that something that I feel like could be an argument, or did you guys just like love Thor?
No,
Endgame?
it's I mean, in the character aspect of it, you have to put it in perspective. Thor was the way he was in Infinity after Ragnarok into Infinity War. That's the way it was. Then he got his shit wrecked twice. He failed twice. He looked like friggin'. Well, I was about to say an Australian bee rabbit, but that'd be a little too broad. But
he looked like hammered shit.
Pretty much. No,
Yeah.
I'm talking about when Captain Marvel first came to after she rescued Tony and Nebula. Spoilers.
Mhm.
So, you know,
Yeah, Thor basically did the freshman 50, but like 2 or 3 times over.
yeah. But it's like, so to see him go through that loss and take it that hard, to where he was like, yeah, I'm going to use Stormbreaker's a bottle opener now. I'm done. I'm not fighting. He's the king of Asgard who doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that was just bad. But as far as what Hulk was a child when Banner wasn't in control.
Mm-hmm.
Now that Banner found a way to filter his own personality, brain, however you want to say it, through the Hulk's body, it kind of made Hulk grow up a little bit and kind of morph into a perfect balance of both.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that, but I know if we didn't get Professor Hulk as we got him, we wouldn't have gotten half the stuff we got.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And
I'm bringing up this argument not agreeing with it. Like, I do not agree with that argument at all. I just thought that was an interesting take.
Right, and that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily agree with it either, because as I'm pretty sure we mentioned earlier, every character goes through some sort of I guess they go through like some point of like closure. And Banner, while he did have his off screen, that was his moment of closure. He and the Hulk were able to essentially come together as one, and they were able to have like the best of both of what they were able to have like the best of both of their given ability.
Yeah, and it was a fun reveal too. Like, they got to really capitalize on that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I loved how they were just at the diner and they were just like had this one small diner table and just had like piles and piles of food. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Especially since Thor was also there.
no, he wasn't. Was he?
Wait, what?
No.
Yeah. I
Wait.
thought.
They got
wait,
no. They got
No, he
Professor
wasn't
Hulk
there yet.
first. Then they went
That's
to
right.
New Asgard. That's when they tried snapping him out of it with Professor Hulk.
Hulk, yeah,
Yeah,
Professor Hulk
that's right.
literally goes
Yeah,
to
that's
get
right.
Thor. Yeah,
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
They needed him to get Thor.
yeah.
Right.
Oh.
So that was fun. Let's see.
Hawkeye Ronin. Do you guys what are your takes on Hawkeye Ronin?
I want to see that movie rated R, man. I want to see that rated R movie, man.
Yo, he was always he and Black Widow were always before considered like the worst members of the Avengers, like I guess the least useful. Motherfucker pulled his weight in this movie.
He really did.
Yep. Oh man,
He pulled his weight so hard.
Ronan, I loved. I just
Like, I love that scene where they were making a decision. Okay, who's gonna die? And it was like, I'm gonna die. No, like,
we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
We'll do this with Widow.
We're not there yet. Right. Wait, what? Are we doing this with?
Sorry. We'll cover that a little bit more when we hit Black Widow.
Right. Okay. But that what was that planet?
Vormir.
Vormir? I thought it was
Vormir.
Nidavellir was where they got the thing. Yeah, Vormir.
Yeah, Vormir is yeah.
Which begs up the question: if they had to put back all the Soul Stones, it's crap.
All
Never
the
mind.
stones.
If they had to put back all the stones, how do they give back the Soul Stone?
I actually wanted to bring that up later on when we got to it, but I'm kind of glad that someone else did.
I mean,
Because that was a question from friggin' what's it called? The Super Carlin brothers. They're like, how do they give that back?
they just gave it to Red Skull. He was like, okay.
And Red Skull's like, all right, this is mine now, I guess.
No, well, I mean,
Thanks, Cap.
I
Bye.
guess.
Yeah.
yeah, he's like, okay, now what do I do?
I would just chuck
Oh,
it back
so-
on the thing like, okay.
Oh, so does that mean that when Infinity War comes back around, he can just tell Gamora and Thanos to fuck off? Just like
I mean,
I have
No,
stood
no, no,
guard
Splitting
No, see,
timelines.
Right.
for the last half
That-
century. I've stood guard over something that can never be mine. Is it technically his then?
No, because here's the thing, though. Oh, this time travel thing's gonna hurt. I guess we're gonna dive into the time travel portion of this now, because this is gonna be fun.
Back to the Future is bullshit.
It's yeah.
Yes, it is. That's the future bullshit.
Fuck.
That's the
That's my
future
favorite.
bullshit. So here's the thing. Oh my god, this is gonna hurt talking about this. Friggin' when they went back, this was not to their 2014, their 2012. This was going back to that point in time, yes, but it wasn't their history they're going back to.
It was like a branch universe.
Exactly. So they're not time traveling, they're universe hopping, which is different.
Yeah.
Which is what in reality I think they should have called it to clear up a lot of confusion. Because everyone said this, and it's like from comics explained to everyone else were like, well, how does this even work like this? I'm like, okay. If you went back, and they even explained this in one sentence, if you went back to change the past, it wouldn't be our past because our past is already past, but which is actually your present, which is actually now your future, which makes no sense.
Admittedly, it makes a lot more sense if you grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, watching like all the Trunks timelines.
Oh, I know.
yeah, that's still messing me up to this day.
Yeah, no, but like not necessarily for us, but for like maybe the people listening in.
Right. Or if you played Xenoverse every once in a while, it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Although they're correcting the timeline, which wouldn't make that much of a difference if it started. Never mind, we're not going off on that tangent. We're going back, focusing on Endgame. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, where was I?
You were talking about universe hopping.
Right.
Hopping.
So it's like when perfect example is the ancient one. When she said when they take out the time stone, because here's the cool thing. They didn't realize this at first, what I just thought was funny. It came down to Black Widow saying, if we went to the right time, there are 3 stones in New York. whoever was with her was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, shut the front door. Like the Hulk, like
I think
trying not to
I think it
swear.
was Hulk that said it.
Yeah.
I think it was Hulk that
Trying
said
not to swear. Banner, I was like, oh, Banner, shut the front door. He's such a fucking dork. I love it.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, because there was the Mind Stone, the Space Stone, which we're going to talk about that one in a second.
And
then
the Time Stone.
Right, the Time Stone. The Time Stone was held by the Ancient One, not Doctor Strange yet. Because she's like, if you're looking for Doctor Strange, I believe you're 5 years, 6 months, and 2 days early.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I think she just said 5 years early.
Okay, whatever. I
Yeah, about 5 years early, she said.
You know what's really like holy, like Tilda Swinton, like fucking Christ, where she goes, Strange is supposed to be the best of us, and then she like looks off into the middle distance, and then she's like, oh fuck, like she has that realization she has to give up the Time Stone. It's like, I love that scene so much. It's like so well acted.
Okay, what I loved the most was when she did the whole astral form thing, because that was cool.
Yeah.
Banner, yeah.
But again, going back to the Super Carlin Brothers thing, because I love their review of this, if she did that and it was Loki, that would have been funnier than hell. It's like, oh, this is awkward.
But and actually, this is another thing that I actually think is I'm glad that they didn't do it this way. But if you really think about it, going back on what Black Widow said, if you go back to the right year, 4 of the stones would have been in New York at the same time. Because just before it got the Reality Stone, or was that in San Francisco?
No, that was A in San Francisco, and B that was after New York, so it would not have been the same time.
Oh yeah, shit, that's right. Because I forgot the Space Stone immediately went back to Asgard.
Asgard, yep. That and friggin' Jane Foster literally slaps Loki and goes, "That was for New York." He just looks at Thor. I like her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and Loki escaping with the Tesseract, setting up.
I was gonna get there.
Okay.
So it's like, but getting back to the Ancient One explanation, if they were to take it to save their own timeline, that would cause a problem with the timeline that they're in.
It becomes a divergent timeline, yeah.
Exactly. So it's not to bring their timeline back to whole, it's to make sure nothing else goes wrong with everything else that's going on. You know what I mean? So the Thanos that comes back, I'm not gonna. Are we going there yet? Or that's too much final battle. But wait.
Well, with time travel, considering it's a 3-hour movie, and we already brought up the fact that like Thanos gets his face kicked in the first like 10 minutes of the movie.
Yep.
Like, you can assume that Thanos from a different timeline shows up.
Yeah. From the air quotes 20.
Yeah, we haven't said how, but we can get there.
Okay, so we'll get to that in a minute. So when Thanos arrives, that's the Thanos from the 2014, aka Guardians of the Galaxy era-ish thing. Yes. That's how that works. You know, it's not so much their past Thanos, because their past Thanos already had his past and his unfortunate end. Yeah. So that whole thing happens. Which leads me to one question. What did we feel about how Nebula went down? How that happened? Her, like, memory syncing up, like going to an old computer with new songs from the future with iTunes. How do we feel about that?
What was the question again?
If you think about it, it was a little predictable in a way.
Well,
that was one of the few ways that they really could have like brought a different Thanos back to where they were going. But at the same time, like, that is maybe one of the few things that did feel a little forced.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They, like, yes, they are the same being, essentially, but I don't think that just being on the same plane of reality would sync them up like that, kind of like an auto Wi-Fi connector.
Yeah. Ricardo or Bunza, what do you think?
We're talking about the Nebula thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nebulous.
it can be justified. When it first happened, I was like, wow, this is awfully convenient. But I mean, you could back it with some like pretty convincing logic. Just with like the fact that like, yeah, it's the same network and they run on the same quote unquote frequency. Like, I could see that happening. Like, that's not unbelievable to me, you know?
Oh yeah, no, because like like Black Widow says earlier in the movie, she trades emails with a raccoon. There isn't much that surprises her anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So I can believe that. Like, if Thanos' space magic has it so that there can be two nebulas on the same fucking network, like I believe that.
Yeah, no, it's not the most far-fetched thing ever, but like at first, like your initial reaction might seem like you said, oh yeah, this is a little too convenient.
Yeah. Big M, what about you?
Honestly, when it came to that scene to see both of them link up like that, I was thinking, honestly, I didn't even know what to think at point that time that movie. I was thinking, oh shit, here we go.
Aw, shit. Here we go again.
It's about to get fucked up because now Thanos knows exactly what's going on in the future. And now he's gonna try to find he's gonna find that nebula to fuck her up, and now that nebula that's with Thanos is now going to be particularly playing the role. And I'm just like, okay, shit's about to be really fucked up now because now they know what's going on, and this is going not to end well.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. So as long as everyone's like, okay, this makes sense, this is fine, we can move on.
Yeah.
After the two nebulas thing, what happened next? I forget.
Why don't we move on to Thanos himself?
Well, are we talking about the beginning of the movie Thanos or into the middle of the movie Thanos? Because
I'm talking
beginning
about
of the movie got fucked up.
I want to talk about the bridge of like the two Thanoses that you see in the movie, like their motivations, the complexity with
Right.
their characters, all that. With like obviously the one that you see in the beginning of the movie is a more tame version of Thanos because this is the one that has already won. He is the one that has already accomplished everything that he had set out to do, starting with when he makes his first appearance at the end of not Infinity War, just the first Avengers.
Yeah. Now, that's the funny thing, because that Thanos had taken time to kind of, I would say, mellow with age almost, but he kind of like matured a bit. And he's like, okay, this is fine. This is what we're doing. 2014 Thanos is a Thanos in his prime wanting to get shit done. And he says, so I do succeed. So I do win. And then he immediately gets his head cut off. He's like, oh, they're not thankful. Well, time to watch this world burn. Okay. That's it.
Well, not necessarily. What he watches is, yes, he sees that he wins, and then he sees his head cut off, and it's just like,
oh,
that is all the proof that what I did really, like, came full circle.
So basically, I win. I just died at the end.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah. But then that Thanos comes back to the future that they go to at the future that happens at the beginning of the movie. And
so it's 2080. 2023.
Yes.
5 years later after 2018.
Yeah, after Infinity War, which was 2018. It's weird hearing that, just because obviously, like we're always trying to think that unless it's like a prequel movie like Captain Marvel, that we're trying to think that it's the year that we ourselves are watching it in.
Right. That's why I had to clarify 2023.
Yes, but like the Thanos that you see going to 2023 is a slightly more immature version of Thanos in the aspect that he sees that his future self or his other universe self would win, but he doesn't see all the stuff that that other Thanos would actually have to go through. Like he doesn't actually have to go through like the mental and physical torment of having to throw Gamora from the ledge on Vormir. He doesn't actually have to fight the Avengers on Earth to get the Mind Stone away from Vision, and he doesn't have to fight the Guardians along with Tony and along with Strange and Iron Man on Titan
And Spider-Man.
to get the time and Spider-Man. Yes, thank you. To get the Time Stone off of a destroyed Titan.
Yeah.
So this is a different Thanos that is only seeking to reap the rewards off work that was done for him, rather than work that he gets to thrive off of that he did himself.
Right. So one more thing. We we see his ship. How the hell does that work? He goes
Space magic.
through. Shut up. We see him go through the portal. How does he go through the quantum platform and come out the other side of ship? Does that make sense?
Didn't they do that with the Avengers ship with the Guardians of the Galaxy ship? Yeah, they did.
But they shrunk it down first.
Yeah, there's
They-
a scene that where it's shrunk down.
No, this was a full
No,
ship.
the quantum the not the Guardians of the Galaxy didn't go through the quantum realm. I didn't think.
No, the Guardians of the Galaxy ship is what the Avengers used to get.
But
yeah,
they
the
shrunk
Milano.
They shrunk the Milano down with Pym particles first, and then used the quantum platform.
He had Pym particles. I think there's
No,
a
he
scene where he gets Pym particles.
No. We're talking.
Yeah, he does. He does. They take the Pym particles from Nebula.
From Nebula.
Yeah. So
Right. But wait. Then we're going 2023. But if they took the 2023 Nebula.
Whoa,
hold on.
Hold on.
Nice. Okay.
Was that me or who was that?
I don't know. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, sorry about that. So it's like, but they took it from 2023 Nebula and put it, then took those. How did 2014 Nebula get back to the air quotes present?
They would have had to have shrunk the ship itself, and if it shrinks the ship itself, all of them would have shrunk with it. I thought, and then they all would have been able to go through the quantum realm with the machine that Nebula had.
But here's the thing, though. 2014 Nebula had to come back with the rest of them.
2014 Nebula goes to the present.
2014 Nebula did not go back with the rest of them.
Yeah, she did.
No, she went back with the Avengers.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
She went back with the rest of them, meaning the Avengers.
Yeah.
So then they had to have put. This is gonna annoy me, and then we're gonna go round and round on this because it's annoying to me. Then she put in the time coordinates to lock on to whatever it is.
Yeah.
We see the ship itself going through the quantum realm.
Yes.
And then going out of the platform, and it's already a huge ship.
No. When it pops out, it there's this moment where you see it kind of warp, and it gets big instantly. But it doesn't pop out big, and they have the Pym particles from Nebula before the 2018 Nebula beforehand.
2023 Nebula. But
yeah.
Would it have been possible for them to maybe take the time to recreate the Pym particle and then just go back to the original time coordinates?
I genuinely don't see what the problem is.
I don't know. The issue with time is that it's very you can play around with it a lot.
Okay, so we're going around and in on this, so we're just gonna
exactly. Let's just drop it.
This is making my head hurt, and I don't like it. So okay. So anyway, after that, then that leads into the final battle. So we're done with Nebula for now.
Yeah, we just covered little bits and pieces of Thanos, I guess.
Yeah. And because Thanos usually is really going to wrap up in the final battle, so that'll be part of that. What do we think of Ant-Man? Because that was funny.
was gonna say we already went over the fact that he turns into Giant Man and punches a Leviathan in the fucking face.
And he stomps the big
And
motherfucker
he
head.
and he stomps that giant general that I don't really know the name of.
Right. So here's the thing I find funny. When they were trying to do the first thing, the first time travel experiment, they filtered time through. And this is how Iron Man puts it. They filtered time through Ant-Man, not the other way around. So I thought that was fun. He came back as a baby, as a toddler,
as a teenager, an old man.
He did not come back as a teenager.
No, he came back as like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
He was
okay. So
a
yeah,
baby,
so
an old man, and maybe about 12 years old.
Yeah, and then he was back being normal.
An adolescent.
Right. Then he's like, I don't know whether it was baby me, or old me, or me, but someone peed in my suit. I'm like, really? Oh my gosh, that was funny. I don't know why I found that funny. I just found it funny.
Yeah.
Because it was funny.
Yeah, it was a good joke.
No, honestly, it was just a great joke.
Oh, but then when they go, but we have to give all props to saving the universe to that one rat.
Yeah,
I
thought,
no, not Rocket. That rat. I'm dubbing that rat
the
Splinter.
literal rat that hops on the console
yeah.
that takes him out of the the quantum zone.
Yeah.
Yep, that rat is MVP.
And it's like at first I was like, man, like that's super fucking convenient. And then I'm like, wait, Doctor Strange probably saw that shit happen. Like he probably was like, yep, no, this is the only way this happens. Like this leads into this and this and this, and the only way that rat hops on that console is if we do it like this. Like it's like wow.
But
like,
props to Doctor Strange. He saw Endgame and did not spoil it.
Yeah.
He saw it 14,605 times and did not spoil a thing.
My man.
Right.
Until
Even
the
at
end.
even at the end, he's like, if I tell you, it won't happen.
Exactly.
I was like, oh.
Which, when we get to Iron Man, bring up Doctor Strange again, because like it's not like a massive thing I want to say about it, but like there is something I want to say.
Okay, so there's that. Okay, so we went through that rat. We went through all of that. Who was next?
Is it even really worth going into Rocket?
I would say not really, because the only thing he said that was funny was about Captain Marvel's haircut. It's like, I'm going to be away from the planet for a while, guys. It's like, you get another stupid haircut? I was like, okay,
Yeah,
that's a little far.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Beyond that, yeah, not much else really to say here. I mean, now we can start talking about...
Yeah, are we ready to jump into Black Widow?
Yeah, we got to jump into Black Widow now, so Vormir. So, Big M, you were taking point on this before. Why don't you start back with the whole who was going to die, be the sacrifice on Vormir?
Okay, yeah. Stone. Basically, everyone, they saw the scene of where Black Widow and Hawkeye are looking at each other, and they're basically like, okay, one of us going to die. They literally play the game suicide, like, okay, who's gonna die first? And they keep, and literally throughout the entire shot, they keep stopping each other to die because literally they don't want each other to die for the Soul Stone. Then Black Widow makes the ultimate sacrifice and sacrifices herself for the Soul Stone. Now, question: Why couldn't they just throw Red Skull in there, like just for shits and giggles?
No one loves Red Stone. It has to be something they actually love to sacrifice.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah, no, it has to
5
be,
seconds.
It has to be specifically the thing that you love most.
Right. And which I thought was funny because someone brought up if friggin' it was Hulk and Iron Man. Hulk and Ant-Man went there, nothing would be done. Now, if it was like Thor and a keg, that might be a bit of an issue. That might work, but you might come up with one more Avenger.
I wanted Hawkeye to just like throw his bow off and like just break down sobbing, just like.
But it had to be a living thing. It had to be a living person. So it would have been a
I
soul.
was gonna say, yeah, didn't he carry around like a picture of his wife and kids? Just like maybe throw a locket off the ledge.
Yeah, but it has to be a soul for a soul.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know, but at the same time, like, I do like your idea of just like he throws his bow over the ledge and just like
Breaks down into ugly crying, and Scarlet
just goes
Black
into, like,
Widow's just like trying to comfort him, but she's super awkward about it, like trying to pat him on the back, like it's okay, bud.
yeah, like he goes into like the fetal position,
Yeah.
like against the arch until like all the energies just like fly up into that vortex and he wakes up in the puddle.
We'll get you a new one.
Yeah.
We'll it'll be shinier and
But I want
it'll be
that
red.
one. But I want that one.
Yeah, and then they cut to a scene at like Dick's Sporting Goods where it's just like it's not the same.
Doesn't feel the same. It's not a sword.
Anyway, I thought that was
I was used to the draw weight on the other one.
yeah, I thought that was a really powerful scene, and Jeremy Renner really sold it. Like,
Yeah.
I miss Jeremy Renner so fucking much, dude. Like,
Yep.
Yo,
I know-
Jeremy Renner is such an underrated actor.
I know, and it's just like, I know he doesn't get a lot of showtime, but like, even his Hawkeye shit in like Avengers was just fun to fucking watch. Like, the
Yeah.
no look fade away fucking at the Chitauri
Yeah.
flying by, like that's still one of my favorite scenes from the original Avengers movie.
Yeah, mine too. Like he's like, look away. Still got him. I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
He's insane.
Okay, my favorite shot that Hawkeye did in the first Avengers was the one he with the explosive arrow to Loki. That was hilarious.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
good.
that too.
'Cause he's like, he
Yeah, 'cause
shoots it
that
at him.
led up that led up to Hulk smashing the shit out of him
Right.
in Tony's tower.
Yeah,
No, but
eventually.
But like 2 seconds before that, he fires the arrow. He's like, I got Loki. Loki catches it. He's like, really? Boom! I'm like,
Yeah,
That
I
was-
fucking missed Hawkeye so much. Like,
Yeah, Hawkeye
Okay.
pulls that no look shot on the Chitauri, and then
people
Loki pulls the no look catch on the arrow.
people were giving Renner a lot of shit for the Ronin hair.
oh man. I thought that haircut was cool.
Yeah, me too.
Ish.
Like, I didn't mind it at all. Like, it's just, I think like it's just like a man of Renner's age wearing a haircut that like a 20-something would be wearing was like the disconcerting part. But like aside from that, like I get it. Like whatever.
Honestly, I didn't care about it very much, but like when you look at the hair itself in the rain, the style itself like it's not gonna suit anyone.
It's not. No.
It's not even the rain. It's when it's like done up and like
Yeah.
moosed up. In the rain, it looked like more gritty and just like disheveled.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also-
at the same time though, that's kind of the hair that Jeremy Renner's been wearing for the last little while.
But it was
Yeah.
bigger. It was bigger than what he usually
Yeah, it
wears.
was a little bit bigger. It was a little bit poofier, but
Yeah.
Okay.
It had a little more on the top than anything else.
Quick
Yeah.
question. The Japanese mobster that he kills, who is that?
No.
Is that not the Silver Samurai? Like,
No. That
I-
was not Silver Sand.
no, that wasn't Silver Samurai.
okay.
Okay. Hold on.
Stop trying to look for Fox tie-ins. It's not going to be there.
Dude, if they were gonna do any Fox tie-ins at all, then Deadpool was gonna show up at the very end, and he was gonna talk about how the merger took way too long and how he was sorry for not showing up to the battle.
Yeah.
I would have loved a Deadpool main appearance.
Yeah, but
Yo,
they
that
also-
would have been the best thing ever.
I know, but it also would have ruined the movie just a little bit, though.
Just a little
I
bit,
just would've broke
but at the same
fourth wall,
time,
that's all.
yeah. But
mean, as
the
an end-
movie's so
as a
sad,
post-credit
like,
scene,
a couple
that would have
laughs
been funny.
not have been bad.
Yeah, but maybe it was like a post-credit scene, maybe. But even then, the movie felt like a book because it's like this 22-chapter book from the first Iron Man to now. It felt like 22 chapters of the same book, and it's finally closed, and it felt great. It felt right. You know, as far as how the movie ended. No post-credit scene needed. The post-credit sound, though, was appreciated. Beyond that,
I'm reading a sci-fi article, and they're saying it could be the Hand Clan,
stop.
because it's in the comics. Like,
I know, but stop.
I'm
It's the
just
Yakuza.
curious. Like,
No, they set it up earlier. It was the Yakuza he was going after at that point in Japan.
okay,
That's what it was.
okay.
Yakuza Mafia.
Well, he was a named character. The guy he ends up killing by slicing his throat. Like, he's a named character, so I just didn't know why he was named.
Because bad guy number 1 doesn't roll off the tongue as well as a name.
I mean, in
Or
the
boss
credits, like there's you know they fucking bad guy number 1, Yakuza number 1, like, but this guy was a named character, full like first last.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, and this might have been like a named character from like I don't know, one of the original like Ronin comics, but obviously wouldn't have really had time to go into all that with this movie because it's already 3 hours long as it is.
Right. Yeah. So we talked about the Black Widow thing. So Black Widow is effectively done. She's out for the rest of this movie and the rest of this franchise.
Yes. Yes.
Which confirms.
Well, she has her solo movie, but it's going to be like her time before the Avengers.
Right. It's gonna be a prequel.
Spitsnaz.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I loved
KGB. Actually, my bad.
Yeah.
I love the one little throwback line they had, where it was Hawkeye and Black Widow in the I think it was in the ship, headed towards.
This is nothing like Budapest.
Yes. No, it's nothing like Budapest. It's like this is far away from Budapest or something like that. This is a long way from Budapest, is what they said, and I was like, man.
That's what it was. It was a callback to the Avengers. Yep.
Yeah. It's like this is.
You and I remember Budapest very differently.
It's like Budapest all over again. You and I remember Budapest very differently.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good callback. A lot of good callbacks in this movie too.
There were a lot.
A lot. Like,
and we can get into even more of those when we start talking about Cap and Iron Man.
Right. So, I think that covers all the heroes, right? We said Black Widow, and then we're going to talk about the final battle, right?
Yeah, and then Cap and Iron Man.
Yep.
Okay. This final battle, holy hell, dude. Okay, so...
Oh, so dope. I loved it.
I know.
Yo, don't do the chant. There were 2 people directly to my right that started chanting along with him, like right in my ear.
I don't fuck.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's probably annoying, but I don't fucking blame him. Like
I don't
hyped.
blame him either. But at the same time, it's just like they were talking the whole movie, so just like, God, shut the fuck up.
Okay, so I just remembered what I was want to talk about before. Going back to Thor, because I know we went so far away from Thor, but this is the last thing I want to say because I keep forgetting this, and I think it's the funniest thing in the world. So, when I went to go see Endgame and my local AMC, which is like 2 miles away from me, on my right there was a dude about my size, huge comic book guy, whatever. On my left, there were 4 teenagers. It was 2 teenage girls, and then was 2 teenage guys. It was hilarious because as soon as they saw Thor, and as soon as they had that side shot, you could hear the gas going, ah! And then, oh, what the hell? You consider the sheer expectation subversion. I forget the actual the complete letdown of that, and the disgust of him having a keg, which I thought was hilarious. I just started laughing. I was like,
yeah. Which, speaking of that, there was something that I saw on Facebook earlier today. It was I'm gonna go watch Endgame for the plot. The plot was like Chris Hemsworth's 6-pack, and then underneath it had like a highlighted comment that said, "Little did they know, the plot thickens."
No. Stop.
Nice. Nice. That's great. That is great.
So good.
Okay.
No, but yeah.
Yes. So,
on to the final battle.
Right. So the final battle starts, and it's just like he sends his generals and Nebula. Actually, Nebula got shot. That's right. So it's like he sends his generals to go gather the stones, whatever. And he just sets his helicopter blade sword down, and just sits. And he's just like waiting. He's like, so what has he been doing? Not a damn thing. It's like, well, let's kill him properly this time. And I was like, oh shit, here we go.
You know, this is a trap, right?
Yeah, probably. So, before Rocket and Thor left, Thor tested his worthiness, and he
was-
got Mjolnir back for one more movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hammer
I was like,
bro.
yeah. So he
Uh,
has both Stormbreaker and the other one. I was like, this is gonna be
and
great.
Mjolnir, yeah.
Yeah, and Mjolnir and Mew Mew. So
Uh,
that was great. So
First, if we're gonna be doing the final battle, why don't we do it in halves? Like the first half, and then the second half after. Well, after
on your left,
after the
Yeah, on your left.
full party shows up.
Pre-snap
Yeah,
and post-snap.
gotcha. Okay, so at the beginning of all this, it's just Thor, Iron Man, and Cap. It looks awesome.
Well,
It's just-
Ant-Man, Rocket, and Ronan, Hawkeye are there too, but they are essentially trying to get out of the wreckage of the building that just got
Right.
fucked up.
Yeah, the complex. Yeah, because it's. I was about to say Falcon. It's not Falcon. It's
Yeah.
Don Cheadle.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, it was Rhodey. That's what I'm thinking his name is. It was
yeah,
Rhodey,
Rhodey.
Professor
Oh
Hulk.
yeah, shit, Rhodey was there too.
Yeah,
Good old Don Cheadle.
which is always fun because there was one line he had that was like, I understand where you're coming from. I wasn't always like this. I leaned to the guy who was on my right, and I said, I used to be Terrence Howard.
Oof.
I was like, ooh, dude.
When you miss out on the biggest fucking paycheck of your fucking career.
Oh my gosh! I was like, but that was funny. I was like,
Yo, and he was.
I
pissed-
couldn't resist
he
that
was
little
just
dig. I
pissed
was like,
because Robert Downey Jr. was making more money than him.
How in your arrogance,
oh my
your
gosh, but that-
hubris, like Jesus,
yeah,
get
that
fucked.
was funny.
That
That was
sucks.
funny. That was funny.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, because he was talking to Nebula on whatever planet that was when they were going after the Power Stone. It's like, I wasn't always like this. It's like, you think I wasn't always like this? It's like, then I leaned over. I used to be Terrence Howard. And that was just funny. And so going back to this, everyone, because before the battle even started, Thanos bombed the shit out of the Avengers complex.
Yeah, he did.
He was like, okay, fuck this building. Boom, 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 boom. Again, it was Rhodey. It was Barton. It was Professor Hulk. Ant-Man was all stuck underneath the rubble of all this stuff. The only people that were left.
Oh, let's not forget though. Immediately before the building got bombed,
Mhm.
they put all the Infinity Stones that they had gathered into one of Iron Man's pre-made gauntlets that had
Right.
slots for the Infinity Stones.
Right.
And who wants to give their first opinion on who? Well, on
Oh,
I guess their
right.
decisions for who made the first snap.
It made sense. I mean, because they kind of had to set the stakes for what happened in the second half, or at the end of the second half.
Enter password. The strongest Avenger. Access denied.
It's like what?
No, that pretty much sums it up. Thor being, I should do it. I'm the strongest, and then everybody looks at him like, what?
No.
No, Hulk's gonna fucking do it, you idiot.
Yeah, I mean, you're the most likely to shotgun a beer, but like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but so getting back to it, it made sense because even Professor Hulk was like, it's all gamma. It's mostly gamma radiation anyway. It's almost like I was made for this. And he went to put the glove on. I love how it formed to his hand, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, man,
Yeah,
that
that
was
was a
really
really cool thing.
that was a glaring issue. I'm like, the man has
Like,
big
that
hands. Like,
glove,
how are you gonna?
That glove couldn't even fit on his finger. Like, what are you planning on? Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I love
okay.
how
This glove is a one size fits all. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, damn, these Russo brothers really did think of everything.
And here's the really funny part. Here's the one part I'm thinking about this now. After he used it, and he took the glove off. Why didn't it shrink back to normal size?
Because no one's.
I mean, that's how the glove was at default. It just expanded when Hulk was about to put his hand on it.
I know, but before he put his hand, after he put his hand, took his hand out of it, why didn't it go back to default, make it easier carrying size?
I don't know, just because I guess after someone tries to put it on their hand, it adjusts to their hand, and then that becomes the default size until the next person tries to put it on. If someone else tries to put it on, I guess.
That sounds like bullshit. But all right,
There's talking raccoons.
An Earthwoman emails a talking raccoon.
I know. Nothing should surprise me at this point. I know.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Your argument is invalid.
I have no idea what that means. Okay. So, okay, getting back to it now. So Professor Hulk does a snap, and he's like, and I love how Tony was like, listen, we're not trying to fix everything. We're just bringing people who were snapped away 5 years ago and bringing them here. That's all we're doing. And I love how he's just because should we touch on this now or should we touch on this when we get to Iron Man?
Touch on it when we get to Iron Man.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure I know where you're going with this.
Right. Because there's a reason for this. And I was like, that is awesome. So, oh my gosh, there's so many threads to this that just tied up in a nice little bow. And I was like, I want to talk about it now, but I can't do it now. So it's all right. But yeah, that was nice. Beyond that, I mean, the snap worked as it should have, I guess. I don't know why it took so damn long, but I guess it did. Unless they were just gathering forces, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, when we get to the second half of the battle, you see that this massive force shows up to take on Thanos and all of his army along with his generals. So, yeah. An army of that size, I would imagine that it would have taken some time for all of them to, like, convene and do everything that they needed to do in preparation.
I guess that makes sense. All right.
No, but Big M, that 3-on-1 battle, yo.
Oh my god.
Like, let's just do some thoughts on the 3-on-1 of Thanos versus Thor, Cap, and Iron Man.
Literally scene from scene. For the time Thor had both of them, and he went into God mode, and then everyone said, "You know what? Fuck it, let's go after this motherfucker." And then we see the most epic scene we were waiting the entire time since the Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Finally got to see Captain America pick up the hammer.
Not even pick up the hammer. He called it to him.
He summoned it.
I wanted to get to that part.
Damn it. Travis.
First, he picked it up, and then he just beat the mess out of Thanos.
That was fun.
And when everybody started coming back, he called it. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. And it was
not to mention his first time using Mjolnir.
And he welded like he knew what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's using that in tandem with the shield, doing like the sound wave deflection come back to me bullshit.
That was actually sick. Throwing the shield, it misses, throwing Mjolnir at it, and just fucking boom, just vibranium sonic wave. Like that, that's so fucking clever. Like,
so good. Just so good.
But the one part I loved about that was we saw Mjolnir, like Megan said, we saw Mjolnir go up, hit Thanos in the back of the head. It goes to Cap. Everyone, no, I don't think anyone in my theater erupted when they saw that, except me. I was like, yes! But I went to go watch another screening of it, essentially. Everyone popped like crazy for it. They just uproared over it. It was amazing.
And then Thor has his comment.
He's like, I knew it. Yes, I was actually about to say, because I was like, because everyone kept talking. It's like, how did he do that? He didn't do it in Age of Ultron. It's like, he could have. He just chose not to.
Yeah, no. If you really pay attention, when Cap does it, like, you see Mjolnir budge, and then he chooses to not pick it up. Like, you see the expression on Thor's face change as soon as he sees it budge. He's just like his face just goes from like smug to just like, oh, am I not the only one?
And then Vision just goes, here.
Yeah.
It's like, by the
Then-
way, you dropped it. I was like,
Yeah, and then everyone just stares at. They don't even stare at Vision. They just stare at the hammer, and then it's just speechless.
yeah.
Vision
I thought
walks away. They're still staring at Mjolnir, and then Thor is just like awkwardly like pats hammer with his hand and walks away.
Which I thought was funny because at the end of Age of Ultron, I know we're diverging a bit here. They compared Vision to an elevator.
Yeah,
You remember this?
yeah, I remember that.
Cap was like, "But if you put the hammer in an elevator," Thor goes, Tony goes, "It still goes up. An elevator's not worthy." Like, what? Oh my gosh! But yeah, that whole thing. So
Elevator runs on electricity.
True. True.
But yeah, so that was fun. So then we see Thanos starting to come back, break Cap's shield in half, essentially.
Piece
Yeah,
by
what the
piece.
fuck is that glaive made out of?
More like what is
the
Thanos
actual
made out of?
Fuck was that made out of?
It's more like
Adamantium?
no. It's more like what was Thanos made out of? Like Jesus.
Yeah. But then we get the best callback. Where it's like, Cap, this is Sam, can you hear me? He's and this
On
is
your left.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
And
static.
this is Cap after he just yanks that strap back and just makes sure he tightens it on his arm. He's what because it's just like 2 seconds before this, we see Cap versus the entire Thanos army, and we're like, oh god, they are gonna lose. And then you hear static. Cap, this is Sam. Can you hear? Do you read me?
On,
your left. Then you see the sling ring circle, and you see Black Panther. Then you see,
Suri
Yes.
and Okoye.
thank you. And then you just see
I
the
don't know
entire.
why, but I knew that you were gonna have a little trouble with the names.
I am terrible with names. Thank you.
Yeah.
So then you see the entire Wakandan army. Then you see everyone else, and apparently you
Then
see.
then you see the Ravagers. Then you see the other sorcerers. Then you see Howard the Duck for some reason.
But the one thing I loved was after Doctor Strange steps in, and you see Wong, you see all the sorcerers and such. He goes, "Is that everybody?" Wong just looks at him like, "What? You wanted more?" Like that second,
Oh, and fucking Spider-Man too. He fucking webs in.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the theater was was crazy for that because we thought he passed away. We was like, yo, it was amazing.
Yeah. But the second he was like, Wong was like, "Did you what? You wanted more?" That second, friggin' everyone else from under the compound comes up, and we're like, "Oh, this is gonna be good." And he finally says the thing. After 3 Avengers movies, he says the thing.
He finally did it. Or
He
they
called back
finally did it
Mjolnir.
on screen.
Right. He calls back Mjolnir. He goes, "Avengers!" Calls back Mjolnir. Assemble.
Assemble.
I'm like, yeah!
Oh,
had
plus,
big
let's
nerd
not
cast
forget
for that.
who else joined this battle. We
Who
had
dat?
some fucking Asgardians, and we got goddamn Pepper Potts.
And Valkyrie. Yes.
Yeah,
Rescue.
Yeah,
Rescue,
yo,
rescue,
remember
rescue,
earlier
rescue,
on,
rescue.
you remember earlier
Can't
on in
talk
the movie? Yeah, your mom
Yeah.
never wears the stuff I make her.
But that, yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
And then you finally see her in one of the Iron Man suits.
It's the rescue suit.
Her own specific one.
Yeah, I think she's called
Wait,
Rescue.
who was that in that female Iron Man suit? Who was that?
That was Pepper. That was Pepper Potts.
Okay,
Oh shit.
so
Yeah.
Pepper Potts
By the
has an Iron Man suit, and when she gets into it, it's the Rescue Armor Model 1, and her
Yes.
name is Rescue.
Nice.
That's her superhero name.
Okay.
Yeah,
One
Okay,
last,
I didn't know what her actual name was,
yeah,
or what her specific name was.
yep. It's
So one last
Rescue.
one last thing I forgot to mention about the 3-on-1 battle. Friggin' Thor with both Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. giving Iron Man a charge to blast Thanos.
Yeah, that was so epic.
That was nice.
So sweet.
It's like, all right, hit me up, Point Break. I don't know if he called him Thor or Point Break or Lebowski. I forget which one. Because I know they
He called him Lebowski.
All right, charge me up, Lebowski. Nice.
Nice. Epic.
Nice.
Just epic reference.
Nice. Yes, just perfect. And then
All
finally, I love how Scarlet Witch went on that, and she was just like, "You took everything from me." He goes, "I don't even know who you are." She goes, "You will." I'm like, "Oh, you fucked up."
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, since we're on the topic of the final battle right now, I know we're technically on Cap, but we're covering over like a lot of the bigger points in the final battle.
Pretty much.
When they're taking the the newly made Infinity Gauntlet like around the battlefield, trying to get it to like whoever's gonna wear it next. No spoilers, yet at least.
Yep.
But when they're taking it around the battlefield, it goes from person to person. It winds up with Spider-Man. He finally goes into kill mode, which is really fucking
instant
cool.
kill mode.
Yeah, instant
Yeah,
kill
he
mode.
takes-
That was so epic to see.
So
Like, activate
nice.
instant kill. Spider-Arms just
he
starts
takes-
stabbing motherfuckers.
Yes, he takes the Iron Spider legs and he just starts jabbing them into the chests of the different Chitauri fighters. So good.
Yeah, man.
But
So
like
good.
after he gets like knocked around a little bit,
He's like, I still got this. I still got this. And the bodies start piling up. He's like, I don't got this. I don't got this.
yeah, no,
That's
I
what-
forget who it is that specifically helps him up, but he
Yeah,
gets
I remember.
surrounded by
Right.
every female hero, every major
Right.
female hero that you see from all of the different movies.
Okay, now one thing though. Before that, it was Cap throwing because he was starting to get overwhelmed with the bodies by themselves.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Hey, Queens!" Throws Mjolnir. Spider-Man webs up to it. He gets that snapped off. Then he lands. Lands on Valkyrie. Lands on Valkyrie's Pegasus. They get knocked off. And then friggin' like halfway through this, that's when the Scarlet Witch thing happens. And friggin', what's it called? He tells Proxima Midnight Ebony Maw to start raining fire. He goes, "But sir, our troops." He goes, "Just do it." So they start firing on everybody while Rocket's trying to protect Groot. They stop firing on the ground and start pointing towards the sky. Everyone lost their shit in the theater. Captain Marvel came back, basically speared the ship, which I thought was funnier than hell.
She just headbutted it.
Yeah, pretty
It went straight through it.
Right. And so she's... you just see her land in front of Peter. He's like, "Hey, I'm Peter Parker." He goes, "Hey, Peter Parker, you got something for me?" He goes, "How are you going to get through all that?" That's when all of the females just kind of converged. It's like, she won't be alone. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, and then just everyone shows up. You got Valkyrie, you've got Pepper, you've got fucking
Gamora.
you've got Gamora, Okoye,
Nebula.
2023 Nebula.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking
It was just
everybody.
Literally everyone.
Every femme fatale that has ever been in, like with the exception of Black Widow, because obviously she's gone by this point.
Reasons. But she had the last one when it was all three of those in Infinity War. So that's what happened.
Yep.
I thought it was good. But yeah, I mean that was a great moment. And for me in the seat, I was like, "This makes Freddy so happy," because I for some reason I just kept popping back. Have you guys seen Big Hero 6? Anybody? Big Hero 6?
Yes.
Okay. So you remember when Baymax first showed off his Rocket Fist, and Freddy was like, "Rocket Fist make Freddy so happy." That was basically me this entire movie. I was nerding out the so hard. It was so bad. It was just like I kept like that childish clap going, like, "Yay!" It was sad, is what it really. It was really sad, but worth it. But worth it.
But yeah, I think we've covered like every major Captain America moment from the final battle. So do we want to move to like post battle?
Yeah.
Well,
As far as the
quote unquote post battle.
Yeah, as far as
Okay,
Captain
yeah.
America moments go.
Actually, I want to hit the pause button on that for right now. We're gonna come back to Cap after we backtrack and go through Iron Man,
That's fair.
because then we'll
Alright.
go through Iron Man and then we'll go forward and then finish this because it's basically the end of the movie.
Yeah,
And then we'll just
fair.
wrap it up with
Like, yeah, all the events between them kind of they kind of circumvent into like the last 10 or so minutes, and they kind of blend together a lot.
Exactly. So here we go. So backtracking to the beginning of the movie, we're following Iron Man now. And I love how we had this like little bit of character study for the whole thing. Then we went to the big, the final battle, and then we kind of tapered off. So Iron Man thought he was gonna die, as I think most of us would.
Yeah.
Then, like I said before, we see Captain Marvel save those two. Not a big surprise. But then we see Potts, obviously, because we talked about how Pepper was rescued in this whole movie, which is obviously a thing in itself. But then we see Pepper Potts just kind of standing there, no armor, no nothing. This is like, again, this is 2018. It's like 30 days after the snap, essentially. So we see him just start going back, and he loses it because he's all hell. He's just like starved and dehydrated.
He's starved. He's malnourished. He is
right.
Like he's
on the brink of death.
They were literally only a couple of hours away from suffocation from oxygen deprivation.
Right. Damn. But damn. But one thing I loved that they did actually not that they did, but more they did not do, was put the end credit scene for Captain Marvel in the movie. I love they didn't do that.
What do you mean with the cat throwing up the space stone?
No, not that. I'm talking about the first one, the Stinger.
No, I know. I'm just being an asshole.
I know. That's why I keep calling you Marvin, because I know you're going to be an asshole about it.
Yeah.
So that was fun because I loved how that was just like an intermediate, like off-screen air quotes, but not off-screen, if that makes sense. It wasn't a part of the movie. It's what I loved. That's my point. Because I was like, man, so it's like, because we had a scene for Ant-Man that was in Civil War, which made no sense. You know, it was taken out of context. But I love how they didn't do that for this one, is my point. So then we see, like I said, I'm trying to backtrack to where I was. Potts, and then he had his breakdown. It's like, he took off, I forgot it wasn't his arc reactor because I forgot he didn't need it. He took off his suit thing, is like, you know what? Next time you face him, you wear it. You see what happens. I'm like, oh shit. He snapped. No pun intended.
That was his. Yeah, that was the nanotech armor. Or the that was
the chest piece.
Yeah, that was the chest piece that he wore for his nanotech armor.
Yeah. But man, dude, jeez, that was tough.
That was some of the best acting from Robert Downey Jr. the entire franchise.
Yeah, I feel like his acting is so good. You ask yourself, is he acting or is this how he really is? Because there are Easter eggs in some of the Marvel movies where there's like blueberries left all over the set, and Robert Downey just eats them while being filmed and just goes in. I'm like, are you that good of an actor, or are you just really yourself in half these movies?
No. Well, yes.
That was the funny thing about the blueberry.
He will actually hide food on set, and then he just eats while the scene's going on.
And no one said shit. Like, no one says nothing to him.
No. He's Robert Downey Jr.
They tried stopping it before. No, they tried stopping him for Avengers. Then they were just like, we can't win. We can't find all of them. Just go. Just do it. It's fine. Just do it. We'll make it work.
Yeah, and honestly, it doesn't make the scenes feel weird at all. It really doesn't.
It makes them feel more natural.
Yeah, no, it makes it feel like you're just watching the actors be themselves. They don't look like people that are just trying to fill a role. They really like mesh in with the characters that they're trying to portray.
Right. Now, let's fast forward a bit because we are running a bit on time.
We're about a minute. We're about an hour and 40. Just
not what I mean. I meant for you, Boonzo. We're running a bit on time or for time, unless you don't have to go.
Oh no, my semester's up, dude.
Oh, cool. We can keep talking then. Good.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought you were still confined to this
Nope,
college thing.
took my final last week.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Okay, in which case, if I had known that, I would not have made it this early. But I'm happy we did because now we can record a few. Sorry.
A few. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Don't worry about it. We'll have that conversation.
Oh, you better
Sorry.
believe you're gonna talk about that.
I'm never gonna hear the end of it. What are you talking about?
All right. So we're at, and like I need to just reiterate, like Robert Downey Jr. His acting is always so fucking, and like we said, we don't know whether or not it's him or not. Like if it's just him,
Right.
But that
I think there's some pieces of his own life he can take from and just kind of go with it. But one thing I thought was funny because this was brought up in a an interview that he actually walked out of. If you guys saw that one,
yeah, where they brought up his past.
yeah, I was like, okay, don't go that deep. That's not your business. What are you doing? But we're
I
gonna
did
go.
not
like,
see
if
that,
anything,
but
his-
now I'm gonna get a bottle of wine and watch that shit.
Oof. All right. No, but if anything, like his past is actually very well documented. So that's not really the type of thing that you really should have to ask him about, especially since, like, obviously, yeah, a lot of it really plays on to like a lot of the low points in his life.
Yeah,
There's
but
a
it was
lot
like-
of parallels. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if they were going to attack it from that angle, fine, that fits with the movie. But they were asking was like, "Do you think you're free of this?" I'm like, "Dude, that is not your business.
That,
That's not your goal."
like, first
So
of all,
why ask him
yes,
that
he's
question at
free of
all?
it.
There's no reason for it.
Right. And he even said, like, "What are we doing here? Are we promoting a movie or what are we doing here?" And it's just it became a really awkward thing. I'm happy he walked out of it. But anyways, getting back to the movie now because we're kind of sidelining here. We do this
Yeah,
a
we
lot.
are. We do.
I think that happens in
But
every
that's why
podcast.
people
we end up
people
getting
tune in
sidelined.
though. That's why
Yeah.
people tune in though. All the tangents are what make the actual conversation that much more enjoyable.
Who cares about actual content? They were here for the side tangents. What are you talking about?
Sidebar
Anyway, so-
or nothing.
Sidebar or bust. Anyway, so getting back to it. So we follow it through, and then the 5 years later happens. He has a kid with POTS now.
Yep.
And they're
Little
living in the
Morgan.
cabin. Yep, little Morgan Stark, who actually does not exist in the comics, which is cool. I love they
Huh.
made that little thing.
You know what? I'm actually really glad that the Russo brothers like decided to do some stuff that wasn't in the comics. Like it took out like a lot of the comic nerds that would go to see the movies. Like again, it's not meant to be derogatory. It's just like a lot of the guys that follow the comics to a T. Like it gave them like something else to just be like, oh wow, all right, okay. So it takes away that aspect of like, oh, I've read the comics cover to cover, like I don't know, umpteen times.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, there's nothing that you can do that I'm not going to see coming.
Right.
And they hit them with a good old twist, like, oh, she's not in the comics. Where
Right.
did she come from?
Right. And I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Another
Now,
thing
the
that
one
I
thing-
don't know if you guys actually noticed, Joe Russo is in the movie.
Yeah.
Train.
Oh yeah, that's my fault. Sorry.
Another train.
And not only that, he plays the only
First.
openly gay character and the first. Yeah.
Yes, yes, he
And not-
does.
And I almost forgot to bring that up because that's what you're referencing. What you're talking about is actually in one of Cap's earlier scenes when they he's doing that 5 years later like recovery group.
He's doing like he's doing like a help group type thing.
Yeah, and I was like, that is dude.
Yeah, and then the creator of Thanos is also at that round table.
But here's the
Huh.
funny thing. But here's the funny thing though.
Nice.
Yeah.
That came, no pun intended, full circle because that's how he met Sam Wilson. Because Sam Wilson was doing stuff for
Support groups for VAs for
Yeah.
Yes.
veteran affairs. Yeah.
Yeah. He ran his own PTSD help groups.
yeah, and I was like, that is awesome. And I love that little callback though. So that was nice.
There's just so many callbacks in the movie, and all of them are just so good. They are all well placed. They're
The
all
end.
well
Hey.
warranted.
Hey.
The
Hey.
end
Hey.
had the best
Hey. Hey.
callback.
Hey.
What?
On your left.
Hail Hydra.
Right.
We forgot that.
And that was totally from the comics.
Oh, we
We
forgot
forgot
about
to
that.
talk about that for Cap. We're gonna go back to Cap real quick. That elevator scene from when they were essentially Avengers.
Yo,
Okay, now here's the-
everyone thought that there
Oh,
was
hold
going to
on,
be another elevator fight.
Yeah, I did too. Here's the thing. Quick question. Are we going to keep referring to this as for the years, or are we going to refer to the movies that they're going in?
It does either or. It doesn't matter.
I'd say just so you don't have to rattle off like every title, every title ever. Just roll through the year.
If you can
When
consistently,
they go back to 2012 for the New York
if
battle.
you can consistently and accurately name the years, then go ahead by all means.
Yeah,
Okay.
They only do 2012, 13, and 14.
Yeah.
Really? What was
Uh,
2013?
2013 was when they did Thor: The Dark World.
Oh,
That was
right.
Rocket. That was Rocket and Thor.
Right. Okay. But yeah. So yeah, that was nice because I saw that and I was like, oh shit. But even funnier though, friggin' Ant-Man was like, well, these are actually bad guys. We didn't know they were bad guys, but we thought they were good guys. Ant-Man just goes, how could you not? They look like bad guys. I was like,
Yeah,
not wrong.
honestly, he was not wrong at all.
it's like they look like bad guys. It's like
Honestly, how could you be a good guy with a name like Rumlow?
I just like seeing
Yeah.
Crossbones again.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, with him not doing his best Two-Face impression. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Because after a building fell on him, it was kind of like, okay, that's bad. And then he blew up.
You know, all things considered, I don't think I look that bad.
Yeah. But that was funny because it was like, all right, guys, just to let you know, the senator wants me to run point on the scepter. Are you sure? I'm calling the senator right now. No, everything's fine. He leans over to Gorillo. Hail Hydra.
And then
Everyone
he
just looks back.
walks right out
What?
with the scepter.
Right. But the best part is, though, wasn't the scepter part. It was the lobby of Avengers Tower.
Yes.
Or Stark Tower. That was awesome. He's like, are you sure you want me to do this? You're just going to give me a minor cardiac whatever. It's like, it's not going to be that bad. It's like, it sounds bad. I'm like, just do it. It's like, come on, Tiny. Do it, Tiny. Ant-Man finally pulls it up. He's like, okay. He gets this. And then he gets the Power Stone. He gets the Tesseract. Hulk had to take the fucking stairs. I'm like, really?
I think that was actually my favorite Hulk moment in the movie, where Hulk
No like stairs.
And then he just starts like growling at all the people in the lobby, like getting them to run away.
And do we want to just point out that who was the one that sent him down the stairs?
Stark.
He ends up fucking over himself.
That's funny. So whoa. Maximum capacity here, dude. Take the stairs. He goes, no, I don't like stairs. Then he just breaks through the wall, which, by the way, scared the crap out of the guy next to me. I just kind of sat there. I was like, okay. But he was like, no more stairs, which is basically what I say anytime I have to go upstairs to either the projector room or the top row of any theater. That's literally what's going through my mind now at any point, because I'm just tired of those fucking stairs.
Yeah. Then let's not forget though, when the Tesseract goes flying, it goes
Right,
straight over to Loki, and he picks
Loki
it up
just
and he
picks it up
just
and-
warps away.
Yep. I was like, okay, so that's how they get the Loki show for Disney Plus. That's nice. Yeah, that was great. But then since they flubbed up on the Power Stone, not the Power Stone, Space.
Not the Power Stone, the
Sorry.
Space Stone.
I corrected myself. Thank you. Yeah, the Power Stone. I did it again. God damn it. The Space Stone. Tesseract. I'll just call it the Tesseract. It's a lot easier. Tesseract.
That's so right.
He goes, I don't know how I know, but I know. 1970, whatever. He goes, 1970. And they go back. And he's talking to his dad. And Cap sees Peggy. I was like,
Peggy. Yep.
no. I was like, this is so. And I got so mad because I told Boonzo the next day I saw him, after I saw Avengers, I was like, fucking hell, you were right. I'm mad you were right. He goes, well, everyone saw it. I was like, fuck you.
Yeah,
So-
but like this is the main point where like a lot of
Yeah.
the main characters were starting to have like their moments of closure, because obviously Tony always had like a very shaky relationship with his father,
Right.
Cap was always torn up about the fact that he never
He couldn't
got
get
to
it.
have a life with the woman that he loved.
Yep.
Right.
Miss Amy Carter.
Right. Yeah. But I thought
Or ends up getting his closure with his mother before she dies that day.
wait, what?
Talking about
saying-
Iron Man
Thor.
or Thor.
Thor.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Sorry, I thought when you said mom, for some reason I thought right to Iron Man. I'm like, that makes no sense.
Because no, Tony and his mom were good.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
him and Dad that were
Yeah.
always having the falling outs.
Yeah.
Which
that-
also, we get to see Jarvis in the movies finally.
Yes.
Get
I
to
love that.
finally
He goes,
see
Is that-
Edwin Jarvis.
Is that the
Like-
same actor from the Peggy Carter series?
Yes, it was.
Cool.
and I thought it was funny because it was like, Jarvis, yes, sir? Do we know him? I don't think so, sir. Looks familiar.
And then
I was
he
like,
makes
oh.
he makes a reference about the fucking beard, right?
No, that was
No. That was the
that
lady
was
who's in the elevator.
Helen from that was Helen from Drake and Josh.
And from Community, which is why
That was
Ken
funny.
Jeong was in it.
I was gonna. I thought that. Wait, was that Community or Arrested Development? Because I thought it was Arrested Development.
No, it was Community.
All right, I knew it was one of those two because Anthony and Joe Russo actually directed select episodes of both of those shows, and that's why both of them were in it.
Yeah, and then
Ken Jeong and I can never remember her name. It's Yvette Lynn something.
yeah, all the Community.
But anyway, that was like, it was like, so when you say hippie beard, what was it more like, blank, or was it more like Mango Jerry? Definitely Mango Jerry. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I'm not sure if I can laugh at that because I don't, but it sounded funny.
Yeah, that's a police
Oof.
car.
That's the sound of the police.
Yeah. So Danny Pudi shows up in Winter Soldier as a janitor, as like a. I think he's like a shield janitor or something like that.
Oh, speaking of cameos, can we talk about the Stan Lee cameo?
Yeah, but it was rather sad. It wasn't that big of a cameo, you know. I thought it'd be like, something a little more bigger, since it was the last time we would see Stan Lee in any Marvel movie ever.
Right.
Yeah.
But I liked what it did though, because he literally had the bumper sticker. It said "Nuff said." I was like, yes. And then he's like, "Make peace, not war, you you whatever." I forgot what he called. I was about to say he called him hippies. That's not what it was.
That's the opposite.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I changed the scene. Fuck!
God damn it, man! What did you do?
I fat fingered something. That's fine. I saved it.
It's fine.
Yeah. Let's
sure no one's
finish.
gonna do
Let's finish covering all the Iron Man and Captain America stuff, though.
So that was nice, and then, but that last couple of minutes with his dad was just great. He was like, "I have a daughter," because he had to tell his dad that he has a grandkid, and that was great. Oh my gosh, it's like, were you prepared? And they had the nice. They weren't talking as father and son; they were talking as fathers, talking about fatherhood, which I thought was great, which was just beautiful. But of course, he had Cap like, "Did you get the thing?" He's like, "I got the thing."
Yeah, but I thought the most beautiful part of that was just the fact that, Tony finally came for full circle in the aspect of mentioning that, he recognizes that his dad only wanted the best for him. He admits that, yeah, my old man was pretty tough on me, but I know that he only ever wanted the best, and even today, he would still probably do everything exactly the same.
Yeah, and that was great. He's like, but I forget the quote he said. It's like, he had a lot of words of wisdom I hold with me now. He's like, well, what? I forget what it was now, and I'm mad. It
was like all the money on earth never bought a second of time.
Exactly. He's like, he sounds like a smart man. I was like, Now that makes me wonder, did Howard hear that from other Howard, Tony Stark, and then used it and paid that forward, in which case it kind of went into a cycle, or did he already know that first and then but it makes you think.
It does. Part of me feels like he might have heard the saying before, at the very least in passing.
Right.
But then like he finally hears it again, and knowing like what it could come in reference to, like he's just like, you know what? Like in hindsight, that makes a lot of sense, and like
Yep.
that really fits this situation very, very well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. So then but I loved what they had to do to get the Pym particles to go back. That was hilarious. He goes, "Hey, Mr. Pym, Dr. Pym, we got a package here for you. This is Steve from delivery. Yeah, what's up? It's like, yeah, okay, just have him send it up. See, here's the thing, sir. The package is glowing. Did they open it? Yeah, they don't feel so good. You might want to get down here." He goes, "Son of a bitch!" And he just bolts out the thing. You just see Cap in like a claw, like, and I don't want to say it was like storage closet or janitor's closet, because walks out and goes, "That worked." First thought came to my mind: thank God they didn't have call ID. That would be awkward.
Yeah. All right.
I feel kind of weird how it just went quiet there for like a couple of
It
seconds.
happens.
I'm like,
It happens.
It literally happens.
but yeah, that was nice. Beyond that though, then they finally got the Pym particles. They left, but that was cool though, because then it leads into the final battle. And what happens is Thanos finally gets the thing after beating whoever he beat for it. No, he beat Captain Marvel for it. And the only way he could beat him, he could beat her, I should say. Sorry. Captain Marvel was a dude in the comics. Forgive me. So, was taking the Power Stone off of the gauntlet, putting it in his, what was it, his right hand or his left hand?
Left hand.
Left hand. Whichever hand didn't have the glove. And just punch her right in the face. It's like, yeah, that do it. Because he tried headbutting her like twice, and that didn't work at all. He was like, dunk, dunk. It didn't work. I was like, okay. He's like, okay, new plan. And then he goes to plan B. But even after that, that was amazing. So then he's like, I am inevitable. He snaps. All you hear is clink.
It's like, what? Next thing you know, Iron Man
Wait.
has all of them.
Hey, no, we lost somebody.
We
He
did?
did?
Yeah, I think we lost. We
Colin?
lost. Yep. We lost Marvin. Hang on. Let me see what happened. Yeah, we lost him.
Oh, his phone probably died.
Oh, no. I hope not. That would be really awkward.
That would be.
Well, he was on his laptop too, so.
Yeah, I don't know. No, he asked us if we heard a ringtone earlier. Hold on. Yeah, so yeah, but that was funny. And he goes, then friggin' what's his name?
Iron Man.
Iron Man was like, I am Iron Man.
No. He didn't say it like that. He says, I am Iron Man. And then he snaps.
Yeah, okay.
He doesn't take a pause after every word. He says, I am Iron Man. Then he snaps.
Bang. Yeah.
All right.
Let me see if I
Well,
can get,
yeah.
let me see if I can get Colin back. But yeah, and then we saw the repercussions of that though, which I was like, no.
But Tony probably knew he was going to die doing that. Like, he was willing to make the sacrifice.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Sorry about that.
Bless you. All right.
Yeah, so his phone died.
Damn. Yeah, I called it. The record shows I called it.
Twice.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't really have anything else to talk about, but that's mostly because I'm tired.
Okay.
Very tired. And Colin disconnected and
Whatever. So I feel like this is an appropriate time to just kind of like wrap it up real quick, with like finishing thoughts.
Okay, so we have to talk about the very last bit though. They sent Cat back in time, and it ended up being, what's it called? It's like how long is this going to take? For us, it's like for him, as long as it takes. For us, It'll take
5
like 4
seconds.
seconds. Yeah. It's like, all right, coming back in 5, 4,
4,
3,
3.
2, 1, nothing.
Yeah.
It's like he blew past his time window. Then Bucky's just staring off screen. Like, what is he looking at? What was it? And
Yeah.
he's like, guys. Then he goes. Then they see this guy just sitting on a park bench.
Yeah, I really just thought like when that happened I was like, you motherfuckers lost Captain America? Like what the fuck? How do you
You know what's
lose
funny?
Captain America?
That would have been a perfect way for Stan Lee to go out.
You lost Stan Lee?
Well, I mean, think about it. How else would we think this up in this? Next thing you know, Captain America's gone and Stan Lee is old Captain America. I think that would have been a better way for Stan Lee to go out in this movie.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of overlap because like there's like 2 different narratives, right? Like there's the narrative of like this is Captain America's goodbye, like this is him passing on the torch to Sam Wilson.
Yep.
And then you also have it conflicting with like this is Stan Lee's last cameo, like he's passed away. Like so I feel like because the 2 narratives are so strong on their own that by like overlapping them you actually kind of take away from both of them.
Yeah. I see. So basically someone had to lose.
What was that?
So basically someone had to make the initial sacrifice where this is not going to be my final cameo.
Right, because they were trying to make I'm gonna say Endgame. They were gonna try and make Far From Home his last cameo, and that would have been a better one, but that didn't happen because he was way too ill for it. Yeah.
So who knows?
And then he just passed on after. So it's like even for Captain Marvel, they asked Kevin Smith if he had any more takes for that one line, "Trust me, true believer," because he was just so sickly, it didn't really work out as well. So thankfully he had those, and they can pull back from that. But So Cap is now old man Cap, and then he's like, "Try it on," and then he passes the shield on to Sam. He's like, "Feels like it's someone else's." Well,
it's like, that's because it is.
Well, not that's because it is, but it's like, well, and he looks at it again and goes, "I'll do my best." He goes, and that's why you'll be that's why he'll do just fine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that was nice.
Yeah, the passing of the torch onto Sam Wilson was something I was looking forward to. We knew it was gonna be Bucky or Sam.
Yeah.
And
and the one line I loved was after he kind of shakes. Actually, there were 2 lines I liked in the scene. There was one to where Matt. I keep wanting to call him Anthony Mackie because that's his name. Sam was like, something either went very wrong or very right. He's like, well, I figured after I put the stones back, I figured I'd try that life that Stark was talking about. And this is after his funeral, and I thought was just the best because hey, he's back! He's back! He's back! Here he is, back again. Marvin's back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hello, friend.
Yeah.
Marvin's back.
My phone
Marvin's
died,
back.
and
Marvin's back.
That's what I'm doing the call on. So
you're doing the call on the what?
I'm doing the call on my phone right now. So that's
with the headphones plugged in.
I got my phone plugged into my charger right now. So unfortunately, I've got an iPhone, and I can't do both at once.
The inferior device, but we're not going to get into that right now.
Okay, let's not get
into that later.
Yeah, let's not.
Anyway, so we're talking about Cap and passing the torch on to Sam.
Yeah,
and that
we just got past Tony's death. But the one thing I forgot to mention was his funeral, because Colin and I were talking about this Marvin and I were talking about this earlier, and they had the original arc reactor that he made in the cave. And Pepper made that into a little thing where it's like proof that Tony Stark has a heart. They put that in the center of his bouquet thing, and I was like, that is great. I'm getting a little misty just thinking about it, which is great.
Yo, that moment broke me when I watched it.
Another moment that broke me though was afterwards. It was just Morgan, and Happy sitting on a bench. She goes, "How you doing, kiddo?" I goes, "I'm doing good. I'm hungry." He goes, "Well, what do you want to get?" She goes, "Cheeseburger." I was like, "Oh, I know."
And fucking Jon Favreau just like he acted the shit out of that scene. Like I loved it.
He's like,
He did. It was so good.
He's like,
He was
I'm
like,
gonna get you all the cheeseburgers. Like,
yeah, I was
Your
like,
dad used to like the
cheeseburgers. I was like, that was so good because I was like, perfect. Oh my gosh. He's like, that was the first thing he asked for. He's like, I want two things. I want a press conference and I want an American cheeseburger. He goes, we can't order. It's like, cheeseburger first. I was like, that was so perfect though. I was like, man.
yeah, so good.
Yeah, I
So
talked
good.
about this a lot when the first Iron Man movie actually came out, but like, how much do you think Burger King actually paid to be featured in that?
They probably gave him free food for like a year. No, I would not be surprised if Burger King actually tried to cater the friggin' production of Iron Man. Not be surprised at all. Because that would have been great. I gotta look up who did the catering for those movies now, because that's gonna be. But yeah, that was a great line. And then as it ends, we see what's it called? We see that we finally see how Cap got his dance.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. That's I called it. I fucking called it.
Yeah. And the best part is though, because like another thing is like because I was again Marvin just before he got back, I was telling him like one of my two favorite lines of that scene were from Sam. He goes, something either went very wrong or very right. And then they have their conversation. And then he shakes Falcon's hand and he puts his left hand over his hand and you see the wedding ring. He goes, so you gonna tell me about her? He goes, no, I don't think I will. I was like, yo, that was so good. And he just kind of looks off into the sky and just, I don't know whether they were like trying to pan over to that new scene as in that's what he remembered or what, but that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was absolutely amazing.
So good.
Oh, guys, before I forget, during the funeral when they're doing the panning around to
Right.
See everyone that shows up, there is one kid that upon the first time I saw him, I didn't recognize who he was. Do you
He's the
guys
kid from
know
Iron
where
Man
he was
3.
from? Yeah, the kid from Iron Man 3. Honestly, I loved that little tie back to that movie.
Yep.
I like the fucking quote. It's like, "Oh, are you cold?" From Iron Man 3. "Oh, are you cold?" And he like nods. And he's like, "Oh, you know how I know?" And he's like, "How?" He's like, "'Cause we have a connection." And then he drives off.
Oh.
so funny.
Like, oh, it was even funnier because he was like just shit talking to Loki. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, dads leave all the time. That's no reason to be a pussy. I'm like, damn, dude, will you chill?
So good, so good.
So good.
Yeah. So just like,
And then the final thing we hear is that hammer hitting metal
at the end of
at the end of the credits.
Yep.
Man, that was great. That
Alright.
was great.
You want to ruin this recap real quick?
No.
Look what I just posted in the messenger chat.
Oh God.
Do I even want to know? Do I even want to
Do it.
know?
Do it.
Why am I looking? Why am I looking at this? What am I doing?
Look at it.
I really don't want to. I really don't want
Look
to.
at it.
Don't want to. I'm not going to. I
You
clicked the link.
son of a bitch.
Wait, hold on. Now I have to.
Yep.
Yes!
They added the fucking
This is
Star-Lord dance-off to
This is fine.
Fortnite.
I am okay with this. I want to play Fortnite now.
I there's no words. There's no words. Like, it's simultaneously the greatest thing, but also
The worst thing.
God, what the fuck? It's
That
so
is
surreal.
That is perfect.
It's so
That is
fucking
perfect.
surreal.
That is so freaking perfect. That is great.
So, yep.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
Lads, I think that's a good way to end this review.
Okay. One last thing.
Yes.
How do we rate this movie? Like either 1 out of 10, 0 out of 100, whatever, 1 out of 100. And where do you rank this in your favorite MCU films?
You don't rate this film. I don't think you can. I don't think that's like
Honestly, it wouldn't even be fair.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be fair for me because it's a 3-hour-long film that is sort
Right.
of the season finale to an 11-year, 22-movie long fucking saga. Like,
Right.
I can't do it. Like I refuse. Like, you can't make me. Like, you lock me the fuck up. I don't give a shit. Like, you're not gonna force me to pick or even rate this movie. Like, it's just incredible. It's an incredible fucking movie. I walked out of there, and this is the word that everybody is using. I walked out of the movie satisfied.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Big M, how about you?
Big M fell asleep.
Malcolm,
Yes.
thoughts on the movie?
Final thoughts on the movie.
Oh, final thoughts on a movie. I literally call this. I would say call this the perfect finish.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, this has been going on for years since the very first Avenger movie we've had is Captain America, and now we see the ending of Captain America. Now we see a whole new crowd of heroes. I mean, think about it. We now have in the comic books Sam take over the mantle as Captain America as Captain America. So I would definitely call this a perfect finish for the amount of cinema, the movies, the production, everything.
Yeah.
Plus, I think it's a very good send off when it comes to the careers of Chris Evans playing Captain America. And also seeing the last cameo of Stan Lee, R.I.P.
Yeah.
And I would recommend anyone to see this movie as many times as possible before it goes to Netflix in 6 months.
Nope, not Netflix.
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, baby. Let's go. $6 a month. Let's fucking
$7.
$7 a month.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Actually, no, I think it's 8 because I think it's $7.99 for Disney Plus.
No, we
It was
we
like
legit
$6.99 when we checked last, Travis, right?
Yeah, I'm about to double check that again.
All right. Colin, for you, I think it's pretty much the same deal, right?
Sort of. By the way, also gonna apologize again because my volume's probably spiking at random times, and it's other times it's gonna be super low.
Yeah.
Not much I can do about that right now because you know my inferior race phone. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
aside
Yeah.
from that, like I would have to say like I don't have like a legitimate rating, but I would have to say as like a final word, it's in the best way possible. It leaves me wanting more.
And if
Like I would say that it's got me excited for the next phase. It's got me like super excited for the next phase of Marvel movies.
makes sense. Now, if I were to sum this movie up in one word, and I mean this in the most sincerest and the best way possible, fan service.
Yep.
Nothing but.
Yeah,
And it was amazing.
I said answers.
Honestly, I'd go with roller coaster.
I would have said fan.
It
Yeah, I
was a
don't know if
roller
anyone said
coaster.
it was. It was a fan servicing roller coaster. Is what it was. It was great.
This is literally the
Coaster.
only movie I have ever watched that had multiple scenes that made me cry.
Mm. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
So now that we got that out of the way, this has been our non-spoiler for about 5 seconds, then spoiler review.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can thank your own ass for that.
Nothing about this podcast was not spoiler, by the way.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
He's totally lying to everybody. He's not sorry. We knew what we were doing.
No, I am sorry because I completely forgot about what I was trying to do, and I even set up the rules and everything else by myself, and I was like, oh yeah, by the way, oops.
We knew what we were doing. He didn't know what he was doing.
I really didn't. So I forgot what we were doing for like 5 seconds, and then I was like, "Oh, oops." Because as soon as I said it, I turned to Tom Holland's like, "Am I supposed to say that?" No. Oh shit. But anyway, so yeah, guys, that'll do it for this. Hopefully, we can sit tight for just record another episode for a solid episode for the RCP, and we'll go from there. But as for right now, we'll go around the horn and see where we can find everybody on social media. Big M, where can the people find you?
Honestly, I don't know where people can find me, but if you look up my Facebook, you go Malcolm Malcolm, and you look up Harwich, you'll be able to find me. Last name is spelled HATRRIDGE. And if you look for me on Instagram, it is the Black Stone Cold Steve Austin. Again, Black Stone Cold Steve Austin on Instagram.
What?
Black Stone Cold Steve Austin. Why is that so weird? Huh.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
No, he gets it. Anyway, Marvin, where can they find you?
I'm not.
Besides watching Daddy Daycare.
Fuck off. By the way, I plugged my headphones back in just for long enough to get some decent audio for this. But as far as social media goes, you can find me on Facebook, Colin Light, COLINLIGHT, or you can find me on Instagram at CLight13, CLIGHT13.
All right, cool.
No spaces, no underscores.
Boonzo, where can people find you?
Alright, you can find me on Twitter.
No one cares.
Thank you. And this has been the Ryan Cross Podcast. Thank you very much. I'm hitting the stop recording button right now.
Please don't. I still gotta put mine in.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Not allowed. Okay. At Twitter.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Exactly. At Boonzo TV. That is at BOONZO TV on Twitter. And I believe also Instagram, though I don't post on there fucking ever. Yeah, you can find Travis at I Suck Massive Dick at twitter.com.
Very funny.
Yep.
Okay, but yeah, like I said, you can find me at the Ryan Cross Project on YouTube, which we're trying to get that changed. But right now it's Tranklin007 which is TRANKLIN007 on YouTube. On Twitter, it's the Ryan C Project, and on Facebook, it's the Ryan Cross Project. And also on Instagram at the Ryan Cross Project. So there you go, guys. That has been our spoiler review. Hopefully we should have a non-spoiler one up for the next episode, because that was a bit of a flub on my part. Again, sorry. I just really want to talk. I have not talked about this movie to anybody, so I was bursting at the seams. And it wasn't fun or fair. But anyway.
No, honestly, like, this review, it felt therapeutic.
It did. It really did.
Finally fucking be able to tell people.
Right. All right, guys.
Finally get to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yep. And we are finally hitting the stop button on this. Thank you guys for listening or watching, however you did this. We will see you guys soon. Keep it popping and locking.
Oh, fuck
Bye, guys.
off.